Hello everyone. We are so happy to go live with Aditya Birla Capital.
Hi, my name is Sneha Shah. I'm a psychologist and I'm also the director of ISRA. Shashank and I have spent many years traveling all over the world, helping people lead happier, healthier, and more successful lives.
My name is Shashank Gupta. You would have figured that by now. I am an engineer by education, moved on to doing a lot of coaching, leading workshops, and facilitating growth and transformation. Sneha and I have led workshops in 13 countries across the world, and we've realized that wherever we are in the world, people across the globe remain the same.
Absolutely. And this is such a good time for us to talk about something important. So while all of us have been spending a lot of time thinking about our physical well-being and really look at how can we make ourselves strong, how can we increase our levels of immunity so that we are able to stay safe and we are able to stay protected, we also need to think about what are we doing in order to create emotional health?
Absolutely.
Yeah? What are we doing in order to build our own inner strength to be able to deal with all the changes that are happening around us? And there are many changes that we are dealing with every single day, isn't it?
It's not just in India, it's across the globe, and we have been noticing that there is nothing known as normal anymore.
Absolutely. All that we thought was normal and we took for granted no longer is available, and we are yet trying to figure out or struggle to understand what the new normal is like. And in this entire scenario, it's affecting all of us in a very different way. So for some of us, it's very challenging, and at times it's also overwhelming. For some other people whom we end up coaching on regular basis, this is also an opportunity for growth, for change, for learning new things and actually looking at a completely different way of being. You know, like Shashank and I were talking about this, that this is almost universe's way of resetting. So it is saying that we have to let go of all the old ways of doing things and embrace a completely new way of being.
Absolutely.
And it is not just in the way we are in our life, but it is also in the way we are thinking.
So while the universe is resetting itself, it's also a time to reset ourselves. There are a lot of things that we did in the past which are not going to work anymore. It's time to let go of certain things of the past and move to a new creation, something that would help us thrive as we take steps forward.
Absolutely. You know, we love to talk about this, which is the daily habits, things that we do on daily basis, which either adds to our well-being and happiness as people, or it either takes away from it. You know, Shashank, the important word here is habit.
Yes.
You know, so question is, what is really a habit? You know, habit is nothing but unconscious or subconscious patterns of behavior that we tend to repeat over and over again. So some habits which may not really be serving us anymore, and this is the time for us to really examine what are our ways of thinking, feeling and behaving that is not working for us anymore. And we would like to introduce to you 4 daily habits that you could consciously practice in order to lead much more healthier, happier and more successful lives.
Isn't that the goal for all of us? To be able to lead happier, healthier lives. And when we have these 4 habits, which we know have been researched and have been practiced, and they definitely contribute to us, it makes it easier for us to reach our goal of living a happier and a healthier life.
Absolutely.
So we are going to be talking about these 4 habits one at a time. Let's begin with the first one. The first one's very interesting. I have a question for you, and I would love to hear from you in the comments. How do you tend to start your day? What I mean by that, what's the first thing that you do when you wake up in the morning?
So Shashank, I think the most common answer that you would get is to reach out for the phone and look at what exactly is happening in the digital world.
Absolutely, and it's very interesting that we have news channels in the form of social media which is constantly giving us messages from across the world.
You know, it's very, very important for you to consider what is it that you do in the first 5 to 10 minutes of waking up. And why is that important? Because what you end up doing at that time, the way you feel, or what is it that you wake up with as a dominant thought. So all of that lasts for the entire day. So you wake up feeling very, very irritated, or you wake up feeling anxious about your future, about your life. That's the kind of thought and that's the kind of feeling that tends to last through the rest of the day. It would be a great idea right now for you to look at how is it that you woke up this morning? Yeah? What is it that you did? Most importantly, how is it that you felt? Did you wake up dreading an entire day, saying, what am I going to do? Did you end up feeling anxious about all that is going to happen through the day? Was there a sense of overwhelm for all the tasks that have to be accomplished, all the things that you have to do? Or was there a sense of feeling grateful that you have woken up to another day and you are alive and well? What's the first thing that you read, or what's the first thing that you saw? Because all of these things is what ends up staying with us through the rest of the day.
What we are going to recommend are 2 things that you can do that will help you have a better morning than what you've had in the past.
And this is something that we ourselves practice, and we know that it makes a huge, huge difference.
Absolutely. So the first thing begins with a no. So you are going to completely stop reaching out for the phone as the first thing to do when you wake up in the morning.
And the reason we say that is that it's very important that when you wake up, you take a moment to connect with yourself. Before you connect with anything externally, that's a moment for you to be with yourself. Imagine if you woke up in the morning and you told yourself that thank you so much for this new day, and I'm so grateful that I'm alive and well, and I'm going to have a fabulous day today filled with new experiences, and probably this might be the best day of my life.
You know, Sneha, you used the word grateful, and I think that's the second thing I'm going to talk about. So begin your day with talking about the things or listing down the things that you are grateful for. So it could be things about being grateful for the fact that you have a beautiful family, you have food on the table, shelter on your head, you are safe in the comfort of your home. There are a lot of people out there who are working day in and day out to make sure that we are comfortable. So being grateful for them. Trust us when we say that every time we count one blessing, it actually multiplies. Sneha and I truly believe that what we think about, what we give out in the world, comes back to us multiplied.
Absolutely. And imagine that when you are in this space of feeling grateful, when you are in this space of being thankful for all the new, for a new breath, for the new life, for the new day, in that energy, anxiety, uncertainty, anger, irritation cannot coexist.
Absolutely.
Because they are 2 completely different energies.
You know, for me, it's like this vessel. So the vessel has only so much that it can hold.
Absolutely.
Now it's my choice of what I want to pour in the vessel. So if I'm pouring gratitude, if I'm pouring positive emotions, that's what the vessel is going to contain. And if I'm pouring anxiety, fear, frustration, upset, that's what it's going to contain. And this vessel is going to impact the rest of the day.
You know, I love this analogy that you're saying, Shashank, because if in the morning I have filled it with so much of positivity and gratitude, even if there are moments of frustration and anxiety, imagine they somewhere get diluted in the overall sense of positivity and gratitude that we are experiencing. So what we create as the base, as the foundation for the entire day is extremely important. Please notice, do you wake up in the morning complaining, feeling overwhelmed, feeling tired, wondering about what the day is looking like? Or are you ready now to consciously build a new practice of the first 5 minutes of reconnecting? And as Shashank said, not looking at the phone, taking a moment to breathe, to connect with yourself, get a sense of your own body, and sending out a lot of gratitude, yeah, to everything for all that you have. And that's the positivity that you wake up with.
This brings us to the second one.
And it's so beautifully connected, because this one says that what we tend to focus our energy on grows in our experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah? I'm going to repeat that again. What we tend to focus our energy on grows in our experience. So if we, through the day, focus our energy on everything that is not going right in life. So this could be in the form of relationships, so children are not doing what they are supposed to be doing.
Or why am I stuck in this house?
Absolutely. Or my spouse doesn't understand me, or I'm dealing with colleagues and bosses, or I'm dealing with a situation which is extremely challenging.
Or there's probably more work that when I'm at home than there was when I was in office.
Absolutely, because now not only do I need to finish what I need to do at work,
exactly,
but I also have to respond to the needs of home. So there are a lot of things. So challenges at a relationship level, there could be challenges at financial levels, where possibly all my estimates of how I was going to save, what I was going to invest in, what was the money that I was going to earn, all of this has started to go into question. It could be questions which are around health, around future, so many different areas. But as we focus our energy on what is not going right, it starts to create a spiral. And when we have that emotion, we tend to respond through that negativity to all that is happening in the external world, and that creates more and more situations which are again negative. So what we tend to focus our attention on grows in our experience. Now, while there are things which are challenging, there are also a lot of things in our life which are going well. What if I choose to shift a little bit and look at those parts of my life which are going well at this point in time? The gifts that I'm receiving as a result of the situation that I am in.
It's interesting Sneha says that, because what I give out actually comes back to me multiplied.
Absolutely.
So if I give out anger, what will you get? Is there a possibility of getting love? No. If I give out anger, there are going to be higher chances of frustration, irritation, and anger coming my way. And if I give out gratitude, if I give out love, if I give out a sense of positiveness, that's what's going to come back to me multiplied.
Absolutely. So if I'm going to get critical, the other person is also going to give that energy back to me.
Absolutely.
I also want to look at this whole focusing on the positive. So Shashank and I had a lot of idea, had a lot of estimate, had a lot of plan of vision of what this entire year was going to look like. And of course, things are now changing very, very rapidly. And as we sat there, I had such an interesting conversation with Shashank. I also end up learning a lot from him. And he said that, what, this is a great, great time for us to reinvent ourselves. This is a great time for us to try things at work that we have never ever tried before. Yes, there is a risk of failing, but chances are that we would probably find something which is totally new and which takes us into a completely new successful phase than what we had thought of before. So the situation remains the same, but it's a matter of perspective.
Absolutely.
What is it that we are choosing to focus our energy on? So as a habit, could you consciously practice to take your awareness and shift it from what is not working in your life and move it to what is working in your life?
Again, in the comment section, we would love to hear from you. What are you choosing now? What is it that you are choosing to create now, given the situation that you are in?
And remember, what you choose to focus on creates an emotion that stays with you all the time. And this emotion is what creates our experiences all the time.
Absolutely.
This brings us to technique number 3.
Number 3.
Very, very relevant for all of us at this moment. And this technique says that don't try to change people around you. This whole situation has also brought in a lot of physical proximity with people who are close to us in our life, which is the family that we might be living with. So while there is social distance that we are practicing externally, there is a lot of emotional proximity with certain people, and that throws up its own challenges. So while it's very, very exciting to spend a lot of time together, we might also start noticing things about each other that we particularly don't like, or that we end up feeling irritated about, that we would want people to change.
It's interesting you looked at me as you said that.
You know, and it's happening even as you're sitting there. You may be noticing a lot of things that you might want to change, and you might tell yourself, only if this person would change this thing, so many things would end up becoming easier. Or why does this person not understand it? You know, so these are the kind of changes that we want from people, often with good intention. But we end up spending so much of our mental energy and so much of our time trying to change other people.
Just yesterday, I was having a conversation with one of my coaches. He's been having a difficult time at work lately, and especially after the lockdown. And the reason behind that is that there's a lot more work that has come to him because of the work from home scenario. So while home has its own challenges, the boss is now monitoring him constantly from his computer, checking whether he's on his desk or not. And I'm sure most of you guys are facing the same situation. As I was talking to him, there was something that kept coming, and that was a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, a lot of feeling of wanting to change him. Why doesn't he understand? Why doesn't he get the fact that there are a lot more responsibilities now? Why does he constantly want to try and control my life? As I was listening to my coachee filled with anger, filled with resentment, I paused. I heard him and I asked him a simple question. I said, as you are speaking, I want to ask you, who has the remote control of your life? And my coachee paused and he said, that's a very valid question. I said, tell me, as you say this, who has the remote control of your life? And he said, my boss. I said, what are you willing to do to bring back the remote control to yourself?
Absolutely.
And my coachee said that there's one thing that he's willing to do. He's willing to shift the focus from outside to inside. He said, I can't change my boss. I can't change the situation that I am in now. But what I can change is the way I perceive the situation. And as I was listening to him, I thought it was such a powerful statement, because just that moment of awareness moved the camera from outside to inside.
Actually, that's so true, you know, because we end up spending so much of our energy, you know, focusing outward.
Yeah.
And most of the times, the control of our happiness lies outside. You know, where we say, only if this person would be different, I would be happier. But the fact is that we cannot control anybody else, and that the only person we have any control over is ourselves. So imagine, what if you stopped focusing your energy on trying to change other people, wishing them to be different, because just by you wishing them to be different, they are not going to be different. People change only and only when they choose to change. So there is nothing that you can do about it. Shashank, I'm going to just ask you to do something right now.
Okay.
So this is a very, very fun exercise.
I don't know what she's asking me to do. Okay, I'm just going to play along.
It's a fun exercise, but it drives home the point. So Shashank, what I'm going to do is, I have closed my fist and I need you to open this fist within 10 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, she's a
That's
strong woman.
He's a strong man.
Yeah, but I'm not able to open this.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Okay, I hope
2,
you're trying with somebody next to you.
1.
Okay.
Time up.
Okay. Yeah.
Not done
That's
at
a
all.
Powerful woman.
Shashank, I have some questions to ask you.
Okay.
That when I asked you to open my fist, what is it that you tried to do?
So I tried to put more pressure.
Yes.
I tried to use a lot of force, and as I was trying to do that, I was also noticing the feelings inside of me. And the feelings were that I'm trying to do something to you, but you are not giving in,
Responding.
you're not responding. So it was making me feel very angry, and I was feeling like I'm losing.
Ah, and while you were forcibly trying to open my fist, what was I doing? What did you notice?
You were holding on tighter.
Holding.
I have known you for a very long time, but I didn't know you had that much strength. You were actually holding on more and more tighter.
Now imagine if we were to connect this to the way we try to change people. So Shashank, would you put your fist in?
Interesting.
So every time when we try to change people, we do something like this, that, Shashank, only if you were to get a little more organized, with the way you do things, and you would be more sensitive to the amount of work that I need to do as well.
Have you heard
And
that before?
and we need to be able to balance things out, and you need to help me out a little more, because otherwise it's not, Shashank, it's a small little change that you need to make. What I'm trying to do is getting him to change, but every time we try to change people, what they do is that they hold on to their own ways of thinking and being even more strongly. And even if people end up changing, they either resist as much as possible, or they resent having to change. Yeah, so which means that we really have very little control over what other people are going to do. Might as well focus that energy on how we can change ourselves. And that brings us to the last technique out of the 4 daily habits for healthier, happier lives.
Absolutely.
And the last habit, which is actually the most important one, that is for you to practice self-care and self-love on daily basis. The most important relationship you will ever have is the one with yourself.
The fact is that the world exists around us. People exist around us. But if I don't take care of myself, how will I ever have anything inside of me to give it to somebody else? I can't pour out of an empty vessel. I can only pour out of a vessel which is filled.
Absolutely. A lot of times in all the tasks, duties, responsibilities, things that we have to do on daily basis, we don't take moments of taking care of ourselves. It doesn't take too much time. It's almost like pausing maybe 3 times in a day, just stopping what we are doing and noticing, how am I feeling right now? What is it that I can do, something which is small, to be able to take care of myself. One of the people whom I've worked with, there is a practice that she follows, where every day in the morning she wakes up, she looks at her own self in the mirror and she says, what can I do to make you happy today?
Wow.
And that's such a beautiful, beautiful act of self-care, because at the end of the day, we are responsible for our own well-being.
Absolutely.
And if we don't learn to take care of ourselves, trust me, nobody else will.
Louise Hay, in her best-selling book You Can Heal Your Life, constantly talks about this. It's so interesting because a lot of times when we look at self-care, we think of it as being selfish.
Yeah.
Self-care is not selfish. Self-care can be any moments which allow me to pause and look at myself inward and truly ask myself, what is it that I want in this situation? What is it that I want to do now to take care of myself? It's very interesting. A lot of times people say, I will take care of myself when I am able to do this. I am able to achieve
When
my
I have
goal.
a free moment, when all the work is over,
Absolutely.
when X, Y, Z goals have been reached, only then I'm going to take care of myself. But it actually needs to be the other way around, because when I take care of myself, my goals happen in a much more easy and a much more joyous way. So it doesn't happen that I reach to them and by then I'm so tired and so overwhelmed that there is no joy of having accomplished whatever it is that I have. Shashank, what I do as a daily
I
practice.
was actually going to ask you that. So Sneha, what is it that you do as a daily practice?
For me, I need to do at least 3 things in a day, which is around self-care. It could be moments in the day when I take complete pause, when I stop all the work that I'm doing. That's the time when I'm having my tea. So I usually will take that 1 cup of tea, a book that I've been wanting to read, complete quiet time when I disconnect with everyone, and those 15 minutes are rejuvenation or reconnection with myself. And every time I do that, there is such a surge of energy that I feel all over again. So that's a beautiful, beautiful moment of self-care that I have every single day.
My moment of self-care, a lot of times, especially when I'm doing a lot of work, when I'm feeling exhausted, I always take a moment to quieten down, to close my eyes for 5 minutes, for 7 minutes, and just to keep quiet, just to let all the chatter in my mind quieten down, all the chatter in my head die down, and just to center myself again. Because when I do that, I'm able to bounce back, I'm able to get back to work with renewed energy.
You know, different people can have different self-care practices. For some of us, it could be around dressing up in the morning and really being able to look good because that feels good. For some of us, it could be the couple of even 10-15 minutes of body stretching and body exercise because that feels good to me. For some of us, it could be chanting, it could be meditating, it could be anything that works for you, that you know is a part of your self-care ritual. Because remember, once again, the most important person in this entire world is you, and you need to be able to nurture and take care of yourself. So once again, a quick summary of 4 powerful daily habits which can help you lead healthier, happier and more successful life.
So as you hear her, I would like you to write in the comments section which one of these are you going to implement starting today.
Absolutely, and eventually implement all 4 of them. So the first daily habit is that the first 10 minutes when you wake up, decide how you're going to feel for the rest of the day. So being able to practice the pause, connect with yourself, feel a sense of gratitude, that's extremely important. The second one is what we tend to focus our energy on gets created in our experience. So can we shift the focus from what's not working to what is working in our life? The third one is we cannot change people.
Remember the rule of the fist, yeah?
So the only person we will ever have control over is ourselves. So can we focus on that? And the fourth habit, which is the most important one, is to practice moments of self-care and moments of self-love through the day, because the most important person you ever meet or have a relationship with in your life is yourself.
To have you get started, we've created a meditation which is on feeling grateful.
Yes.
This is a beautiful meditation. Sneha has recorded it in her wonderful voice. We've made it available for you, so you simply need to click on the link which is above, and it's going to take you to the meditation that you can download and listen to it.
Trust me, it's a beautiful practice to do when you wake up first thing in the morning. You will certainly feel a shift in your energy, and you can of course use it anytime in the day as needed.
Absolutely. And you can also connect with us, you can write to us, you can reach out to us on www.isra.co.in. Our Facebook handle is on the top right above, and we are looking forward to hear from you, to connect with you on any other thoughts that you may have.
We hope you have enjoyed this time just as we have enjoyed connecting with you, and we hope that you're going back with some kind of a new practice that you're going to implement. Remember, this is time for resetting. It's time for embracing a completely new way of being.
Absolutely. As the earth resets itself, so do we.
And we are now working towards leading happier, healthier and more successful lives. So have a wonderful, wonderful evening, great days to come.
Thank you, and thank you for listening to us. Thank you for staying with us while we were doing this live video.
Take care.
Bye.
Thank you.